What up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to sort of give a little bit of a homage and sort of another installment of my Remembering Icons series that I've been doing for a little bit now, for Gloria Richardson, who had just passed away at the age of 99 last week. I felt like there was a little bit of talk about acknowledgement about her death, but not as much as I would have liked. I think it also kind of got overshadowed a little bit by Biz Marquis's death as well. Also, rest in peace to Biz Marquis. I might also do an installment of Remembering Icons series about him as well soon this week also, but it'll probably be after this drops. But yeah, he had died at the age of 61, which was I think it was age of 61, right? It was very young. He was very young, and so it was kind of surprising for everybody to hear that he had passed. And so I think that kind of overshadowed Gloria's death a little bit. I sort of just wanted to come up here to sort of give her flowers, because she deserves them. She deserves them. She did a lot, and she was very, influential and instrumental in the civil rights movement, especially for her area in Maryland. Specifically Cambridge. If you don't know Gloria, most people probably know Gloria, just don't know her name, but they have seen her face, because she is in the famed photo of her pushing the rifle, the National Guardsman, the rifle out of her face, like, get the fuck out of here, like completely defying authority, being radical, revolutionary, and black, and, not taking anybody's shit. That's what she was known for. But I sort of wanted to go a little bit deeper than just that photo. Gloria Richardson was actually born in Baltimore in 1922, which is funny because I've always looked at Baltimore as like my second hometown a little bit, as well as Atlanta, because I spent like summers. I have family in Baltimore and I have family in Atlanta, so I always, if you live in a black family, you probably got shipped off to a relative too because they didn't want to pay for camp. And so I got shipped off to my grandmother's house plenty of times in Baltimore to stay up there and spend like the entire summer up there with her. But yeah, Gloria Richardson was born in Baltimore, but she was raised in Cambridge, Maryland, of course. And she was raised by they were middle class. They were pretty well off. They weren't struggling. Middle class black family that owned like a black grocery store, and who were very politically active and also just very pro-black. I'm going to provide links in the description below for all of the resources if you want to read about her story a little bit more in depth. Also, I'm going to provide a video, some videos of her own words and how she, her actually speaking and talking about her experience. Some of the men in her family were a part of this race men group who were about black uplift and just black liberation. So she already had roots in activism. Actually, when she went to Howard University, I think at 16 years old. So she was really young, and also clearly very smart. Went to Howard University, and that's where she started to kind of get her hands dirty, actually, in activism. And she ended up starting the organization called CNAC, which is the Cambridge Nonviolent Action Committee. And she essentially started it to just sort of combat racial inequality in Cambridge, pretty much. I mean, blacks not being able to go to restaurants, go inside movie theaters, swim in swimming pools. They were really focused on integrating Cambridge. We want just our basic rights to be able to go in to get a fucking sandwich, or to go in and swim in the pool when it's hot out in the summer, and all this other stuff, or go see a movie without having to, sit in a certain section or whatever. But, they just want to their basic human rights, and that's what they mainly focused on in Cambridge. In creating CNAC, she ended up becoming connected with more of the civil rights scene and other organizations in the civil rights movement who were a lot more prominent. So she became connected with the SNCC organization, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which was started by the famed and prestigious Ella Baker. I should also do a video on her as well, because she's really important, really important figure in the civil rights movement at the time that is very underappreciated and just underrated, and overlooked all the time. And Ella Baker was also connected. She came from the SCLC, which was the Southern Christian Leadership Conference organization that was founded by MLK. So MLK started SCLC. Ella Baker came from that and then created, she sort of saw, you know, like this new generation of young black revolutionaries who are radicalized, who are also college educated and in college. Like a lot of people do not give a lot of, people like to give a lot of credit to the civil rights movement to churches and the religious side, not understanding that there was a lot of black churches at the time that didn't really fuck with MLK like that. He was barred and like banned, like don't come around here type of thing, because he was seen as rocking the boat too much. A lot of the energy and force behind the civil rights movement was black student-led population. It was the black student-led population that had become sort of, went to college, you know, sort of was like, I'm getting this education and I'm still getting treated like shit, and they became radicalized because of that. Like, so I know they like to like frame history in this way of where, like, you know, the church was the one behind all of this revolutionary stuff. Don't get me wrong, there were prominent people from the church, of course, MLK, but the church was not it was not the foundation or the force. Like a lot of black student groups around the country were really putting in the work. And Ella Baker saw this, and she was like, yo, we need to do something with this. We have all these young people all over the place, you know, doing all these amazing things. Like, we need to get them together. And so she essentially formed SNCC, you know, to sort of galvanize them together, to get them to also not coordinate with each other as well, not just have them sort of in their own little islands by themselves, but to feel like there was like a national community of black students, you know, who everybody could call on each other type of thing. And eventually, after Gloria Richardson sort of created CNAC, she also then ended up joining Ella Baker with SNCC as well and became a member of that as well. Of course, that didn't there was always some contention. Gloria was very much so, she was very like, I don't respect authority. I move to the beat of my own drum. I don't take orders. I'm just not going to take orders from anybody, which also became a point of contention for her and the other civil rights leaders who thought that she, you know, moved out of turn in a way, like she moved without their approval. The way, you know, she would just go, they like her, like CNAC, when they just felt the need to go and move, they would just go. They didn't consult people. They were like, and they were also very aggressive and in their face. Like, even though it was called the Nonviolent Action Committee, Cambridge Nonviolent Action Committee, you know, Gloria never was one to believe that you should never defend yourself. While she believed in nonviolence and sort of theory, she was of the mindset of, oh, no, you're just not gonna like put your hands on me. She was nonviolent up until a point, you know what I'm saying? Until it became like, oh no, you're going to cause me physical harm. I have the right to defend myself. You know, it was, and this is very like radical for that time, because, you know, a lot of the civil rights movement was very like respectability politics. We have to remain calm. We have to remain peaceful. We have to remain passive. We cannot engage in any type of fisticuffs or any type of perceived aggressive behavior. And Gloria defied that all the way through. She was not a respectability politics person. And I love non-respectability politics people. If you are a non-respectability politics Negro, I would probably like you, because I really subscribe to that as well. And it's so funny to me that like now that is seen as just commonplace, like, but that wasn't during the time. Like, people were like, you're doing it wrong, Gloria. And she was like, no, this is how I'm going to do it, because this just makes sense to me. So CNAC was very aggressive. They were very in your face. Nobody really liked them. Nobody really liked her. Because Kennedy, I mean, she was right across the street from DC. So and JFK was there. Kennedys did not like her. She was a pain in their ass, politically, because like she's right outside their door and she's causing all this ruckus purposefully. Like, she's purposefully like engaging with cops and like National Guardsmen, and she's purposely engaging with like white supremacists and racists in their faces. Like, she's not like being like, you know, MLK and like, oh, well, let's just sing some songs and I'm no offense to MLK. She pissed off not only, like, of course, the white racists who want you to, of course, bow down to them because they believe in a white superiority complex. But then she also pissed off the Kennedys because she's like out here causing all this ruckus, making them look bad outside their front door, or outside their backyard. And then she also pissed off civil rights leaders because she would not follow. They felt like she was too aggressive. CNAC constantly was called militant. I wouldn't necessarily refer to them as militant group, but you know, if you even stand up for yourself in the minimalist of ways, at least back then, you were called militant. You know, it's so ridiculous now. Like, when you look back on all the groups that were called militant, it's like, how are they militant? They literally just was like, I'm going to defend myself if you come and attack me. But they were called militant. But they were literally called militant for like practicing self-defense. Like it's so like wild to think about that now, that like, and still people, like, you'll read stuff about them like CNAC being a militant group. And it's like, how are they militant? So Gloria didn't care. You know, she was very staunch in her beliefs and also very determined in her goals to integrate Cambridge. There actually came a point where Robert Kennedy, of course, JFK sent his brother Robert Kennedy to go, and like, they were causing so much ruckus that they had to answer some of these contentions because it was just becoming too contentious there in like the DC, Maryland area. So Robert Kennedy comes to, like, he's like, okay, we're gonna hold a vote so that you guys can like have access. We're gonna vote. We're gonna hold a vote. We're gonna negotiate a vote where like the bill is gonna say essentially that blacks can now access the, you know, facilities that white Americans can, essentially, is what he was. And he invited them there and everything, and they went and they protested it. They went and they protested it. Gloria went and she protested it, and essentially she was like, this is insulting and this is offensive. I'm not doing this. I'm not begging for my human rights. White people don't have to sit here and ask for there to be a vote for them to go and get a sandwich at a shop. Just let me get my fucking sandwich. Like, just let me get my fucking sandwich out the restaurant. Let me go swim in the pool. Like, why does it have to be a vote? Now, this is insulting. This is offensive. You think that you're doing something here, but you're really being low-key, high-key offensive when you're doing this. And this further pissed people off because, of course, the Kennedys are like, well, dang, we were trying to negotiate. We were trying to do politics, and correct the situation. The NAACP, SCLC is like, what are you doing? You're, hindering progress. Of course, the, white racists, they're mad, of course. But like, everybody's mad at her because she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be like a very docile Negro that just sort of accepts whatever people throw at her, whatever crumbs people throw at her. She wasn't that way. She's like, this is insulting. This is offensive. This is offensive that there has to be a vote for me to go get a sandwich. There has to be a vote for me to go get a sandwich. Are you fucking stupid? Just let me go get a fucking sandwich. Like, why does there have to be a vote? White people are going to vote on whether or not I deserve to have rights. Just to go get a sandwich, just go see a movie, just go to a swimming pool. Like, she's like, this is offensive. And she went and she took the they were invited to the negotiation table and to the whole little voting procedure thing. And they went and they boycotted and they protested it. And they were in their face about it, and they pissed people off again. And she was really ahead of her time. Well, not ahead of her time, because a lot of, it's so funny to me because Gloria is a part of a lot of unsung black heroes who are very much so overlooked because their beliefs and their ideology and their philosophies around race and America were, I guess, too radical for the time. Gloria makes me think of like Robert F. Williams, who was here. I'm in North Carolina. North Carolina is where I've been born and raised. But it makes me think of Robert F. Williams, who, he tried to join the NAACP. He was like, I think the NAACP should be a little bit more radical. I think that we should protect black people from like KKK, especially down here in the South. And he pretty much got people with guns, Negroes with guns. He actually has a book on it. And he pretty much galvanized like a NAACP chapter where they all had guns and they would go around and they protect black communities, and they would have have shootouts with the KKK. Like, you're not just gonna come in here trying to lynch people or rape people or put stakes or crosses and burning crosses and stuff in their yard. You're not gonna come around here and do that to our black community. We're gonna fuck you up. That's how they were, and people didn't like that. And Robert F. Williams also had a lot of contentions with Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King was on this whole passive non-violent kick. And he was a lot more radical than that. He was like, no, like, I believe in self-defense. Essentially the NAACP also pushed them away as well. But it just sort of, Gloria and so many others that are sort of overlooked and not even talked about in history. Like, there's this, Martin Luther King has sort of become like tokenized as sort of the quintessential civil rights activist, and because the white mainstream loves him because of his passivity, I can't say that word, his passivity, which he started to change later on in life. His thoughts and beliefs actually became a lot more radical later on in his life, which is then when they killed him. when he started to veer off that track of like passivity and being a respectability politics Negro, like when he started to veer off that track into more radical territory, boom, they shot his ass dead. Like the white mainstream, they love sort of the passivity of Martin Luther King. And so they pretty much silence, and they could pretty much try to erase the faces of all the other black people who are like, no. Like Gloria, who were like, no. Like, no. Like, y'all got me fucked up. I'm not about to just take whatever y'all want to give me. I'm not begging to go get a sandwich out of a shop. There's going to be no vote on my rights. You're just going to give them to me. You're just going to allow me to go into a sandwich. You're going to let me go into a restaurant and get my sandwich if I want it, type of thing. And I really respect Gloria for that. A famed photo that actually most people know, where she pushes the guardsman, the rifle out the guardsman's face, that was taken in 1964, I believe, in May of 1964. When they had held sort of these very, of course, aggressive protests it was for specifically, I think, George Wallace. George Wallace was on his presidential campaign run, and he had came to the Washington D.C. area, and they went out and they protested. George Wallace, if you don't know, he's the famous racist white guy. If you've seen Selma, you probably know who he is. He was in there. He was a big part of this whole Selma debacle that happened down there as well. He was a big part of that history. Former governor of Alabama. He's the famous one who says segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever type of thing. And who Lyndon B. Johnson had to tell, chill out. Chill the fuck out. You're making this worse for me and my legacy type of thing. If you've seen the movie Selma, you've seen it, and this history behind, or you know a little bit of the history behind that. He also ended up getting shot a little bit later on. Shout out to that man who shot him. I mean, he didn't die, but I think he did become paralyzed. So karma does come around for some people. Yeah, so they came out and they Gloria Richardson and the rest of CNAC came out to sort of vehemently protest George Wallace and his campaign. And then, of course, Kennedy, they all send in the National Guardsmen in them. And then that's why we get the famed photo of her pushing the rifle out of her face. Get the fuck up out of my face. I'm going to put links in the description box below. I think two of them are going to be of her talking about her experiences. It's funny because one of them is going to be from a interview she did a couple years ago with Democracy Now! People were sort of, a few people that I follow, because I follow some radical people, they were sort of complaining because I guess Barack Obama, somebody had died or something like that. And he had mentioned some other people who had passed away, but he never mentioned Gloria. He never like officially, I guess, talked about Gloria. He sort of like skipped over her out of the few people who have died this past week or so. And people were kind of upset, like, why aren't you, you know, giving homage to Gloria Richardson, who has like paved the way for, you know, you and people like you. It's not surprising to me that Obama wouldn't do that, but people started then digging up this old interview that she did with Democracy Now, where she talked about the state of politics back when he was president, and how she was not fond of him. She did not like him. She did not think that he was radical enough. I mean, of course, if you should know this by now. We should know this by now. Barack Obama is nobody's black revolutionary radical. You know, it just is what it is. How she was disappointed in him, and how like she didn't think that he represented, you know, black America, that he was pretty much like a privileged black kid who didn't understand the ways of the average black girl and black boy in America, and that's why he's probably not doing anything for us. Like that, she went into depth about her dislike for Obama, and also a lot of other things as well going on politically, and so I'll put that down in the description box below also. Because I think that she deserves her flowers. She definitely deserves her flowers. She definitely was ahead of her time. Another one who was ahead of her time. I'm glad that she lived a long life. I'm glad that she lived a long life. I'm glad that she lived to 99. She deserved it. She deserved to live a long life. I think it was a very fulfilled life, you know, for the work that she was doing and the work that she continued to do. And you know, thank you. You know, I just wanted to use this Remembering Icons series to say thank you. If nobody else really truly gets down and like acknowledges the work that you did. You know, she was really seen as one of the first like she took lead. Like she was one of the first black women that like took lead in like the civil rights movement. Like so many of the black women in the civil rights movement, they had to sort of take a back seat because it was very, civil rights movement was very, it was led by, MLK, a lot of church leaders and stuff like that. It was led by a lot of men who are very conservative. And so a lot of the women took back seats. She was one who, no. No, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And that's why people also didn't like her, because she didn't know her place. And yeah, I just wanted to take this time to say thank you. Thank you for providing an example for the rest of us to follow, for the rest of our lives, and to, teach to our children, and so on and so forth, and continue your legacy of fighting for black liberation. But yeah, this is an homage to Gloria Richardson. And I'll see y'all next time for the next video.